Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praises are Allah's, Lord of the worlds, and may His peace and blessings be upon our Master, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and his pure immaculate Ahlul Bayt. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. We were discussing the names of Lady Fatemiyyah alayha salam, and I was introducing an important concept that we have, especially in Irfan, and it's this concept where certain terms have meanings beyond the physical realm of existence. This is a very important device, a tool, especially in understanding religion. It's important to appreciate this, because if you don't, and if you see religion and commentate upon religion based solely on the physical realm of existence, you'd be limiting your religion, and as a result, your own growth, and ultimately your salvation. You won't be going to hell or anything. I'm just saying you'll be limiting yourself. Anyway, this device, this tool, this concept, I want to share this important passage that Imam Khomeini has, where he discusses this. It's a quite difficult, maybe, because many of you are maybe not seminary students, but I think most of you will understand most of it. And if you don't understand most of it or all of it, even that much you do understand will be beneficial. So I'll read this important passage in one of his works, and then we'll continue where we left off last night. Imam writes, in the Quran too, words are coined onto universal meanings. Words are coined onto general meanings or concepts. And it is this principle that affirms the Qur'an's butun. The Qur'an has butun, inner dimensions. It has a superficial dimension, an external dimension, but it has an infinite number of inner dimensions. Imam is saying that the words in the Qur'an, they're coined onto general meanings. Now, what does this mean? In the science of usul al-fiqh, the science of legal theory that they study in the seminaries, for example, in Rome, there's a notion of wad' that they discuss, which means coinage in English, where a word is coined onto a general meaning. The word human is coined onto the meaning of what it means to be human, and that this has many masadir, many applications. It applies to John, David, Peter, Tari, Nari, and so on and so forth. But the idea is there's a word, it's coined onto a meaning, and this meaning has many masadir, many applications. Sometimes a word is coined onto a meaning, but it only has one application. It only has one misdaq. So there are different ways of coinage. However, what Imam wants to say is beyond what the normal consensus is. He's saying that the words in the Quran, though, is different. They're coined onto universal meanings. Now, what that means, it will be apparent as we go through the passage, but just for you to have an idea before we delve into it, it's that words in the Quran are coined onto meanings of this physical realm and all realms of existence, that is, metaphysical realms of existence. So when you come across a word in the Quran, that word has been coined onto a meaning in this world and all other metaphysical realms of existence. Now, this is a very important concept, because sometimes you come across a word, for example, yad, hand, the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yad, it's in the Quran. It's coined onto, if you only deem it as being coined onto the physical hand, then you're forced to say Yadullah. Either you say it means that Allah has a hand, a physical hand, which maybe that some schools believe, but we don't, it's impossible. Or you're forced to say this is a figure of speech. It's allegorical. It's figurative. And that's problematic. For many of the Urafa, none of the Quran is allegorical. None of the Quran is figurative. It's all haqiqi, it's true, genuine. Your problem was you confined the meaning of yad to the physical realm. That was your problem. But words of the Quran are coined onto universal meanings, all realms of existences. And then yad, its meaning in metaphysical realms of existence, has a different meaning than this physical hand, but it's haqiqi. It's not a figure of speech. It's true meaning. Sorry if it's a bit complicated, but inshallah as we go through it. The problem with scholars these days of giving speeches is that it's not only the audience, you're speaking to many other people around the world. And another problem is that you don't know how much of your audience have listened to your previous speeches. So when a scholar comes to a given audience, and this is the second time I'm here, so I'm not very familiar with you, it's always difficult to ascertain what to speak about and how to go around it. So you have to forgive me if some parts are a bit difficult. So then Imam continues, by way of example, if the Quran speaks of nur, light, it is the general meaning that is intended, and this general meaning can qualify with respect to the necessary existent, the wajibul wujud, and it can also apply in relation to the sun. The word is nur. Nur means light. It's in the Quran. Words of the Quran are coined onto universal meanings, not only the physical realm of existence. It applies to all realms of existence. And this nur can mean the sun, but it can also be referring to wajibul wujud, the necessary existent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it's one word, it's one term, one expression. Why can it be referring to the necessary existent in the same way that nur, what does it mean? It means something which is self-disclosing and it discloses others. That applies to the sun in this physical realm, and also applies to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the ultimate self-disclosing source which discloses all else. So this nur is a term, expression, it's in the Quran. Depending on the realm of existence, it has a different meaning. But they're all haqiqi. They're all common with one another. They're all real. None of them are figures of speech. None of them are figurative. None of them are majazi. It's all haqiqi. In this realm, it's the sun, the light as we know it here. In other realms, it has different meanings. It can even apply to Allah Himself as the necessary existent. And then Imam says, but if a rational and wise individual encounters a child and wants to convey the idea of the necessary existent to the child, one would have to express it through an analogy. And so the Quran says, Allahu nuru samawati wal ard mathalu nurihi kamishkat. Allah is the light of the heavens and earth, and the example of His light is like a mishkat, like a niche. Fiha misbahun, in it is a lamp, and so on and so forth. gives an example of it. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. Allah is the light of the heavens and earth. Nur, it applies to Allah. It also applies as a lamp in a niche with enclosed glass around it. Imam says, when you want to explain the idea of a necessary existence to a child, it may be difficult to explain it to them as Nuru samawati wal ard. That may be a bit difficult, but you can explain it on an easier term and platform by giving an analogy of it. The analogy of it in this physical existence, an analogy of that necessary existence in this physical realm of existence is like a light as we know it. And in this case, light, the meaning that light has is that which is self-disclosing and discloses others. But it's difficult to explain the necessary existence to a child. So you have to give an analogy of it, an easier way to explain it on a par with the physical realm of existence. So you go and explain it like the sun, for example, or like in this verse. The Quran has embraced and passed through all levels of existence, because whatever is a manifestation of Allah's attributes. In existence, whatever is, nothing is free from Allah, nothing is Allah free. Whatever is a manifestation of Allah's attributes. In the order of existence, this infinite existence that exists, everything is manifesting Allah. That's one side. On the other side, the Quran is also a manifestation of all of Allah's attributes. So he is saying the Quran is in complete harmony with the order of existence. Not only the physical realm of existence, all realms of existence. Because all realms of existence are manifestations of Allah's attributes. The Quran is a manifestation of all Allah's attributes, and therefore there's a compatibility, there's complete harmony between the Quran and the order of existence with all its different realms. So, whatever word we see in the Quran, it's on a par with all realms of existences. Don't limit a word in the Quran to this physical realm of existence. Yes, that's part of it, but don't suffice with that. Otherwise, you're limiting the Quran. The Quran has embraced and passed through all levels of existence, from the most immaterial to the material. For people like us, who may have proved with hundreds of proofs and deductions and analogies that there is a metaphysical realm, there still lies doubt and speculation with respect to it. Many of us may prove there's a metaphysical realm beyond this physical realm. One way of proof, for example, is through dreams. What we dream, there's nothing physical there. It's completely metaphysical in our dreams. That's a realm which is outside matter. We may prove that there is a metaphysical realm, Imam is saying, but we still doubt the existence of that metaphysical realm. Sometimes academically we come to a conclusion, but there's no inner belief with respect to it. There's still doubt that we have. And so, how can the Quran reveal upon that realm of existence which is one step deeper or beyond the physical realm? So how can the Quran reveal itself upon that metaphysical realm when we, even though academically we can prove it, but there's no inner belief with respect to it? That inner belief that we have in relation to the physical realm of existence, we don't have to the metaphysical realm, even though we accept that it is. But the Iman isn't there. So how can the Quran be revealed only to that metaphysical realm? Hence, for our benefit, the Quran has descended even to this physical realm too, as the Arabic script, Otherwise, if it had stopped at one step beyond this realm, we would have had no idea of perceiving and benefiting from it. And this is the meaning of the Qur'an's butun. Imam here explains. Now here he wants to explain what the esoteric, the inner, the internal dimensions of the Qur'an are. This is the meaning of the Qur'an's butun, i.e. that the Qur'an bears 7 realms of existence. And that is, in each realm, the Qur'an of each realm is on a par constitution-wise with the constitution of that given realm. So imagine how 7 is just a number which they've broadly divided the number of realms of existence, this physical and the metaphysical. Even amongst the metaphysical realms of existence, there are differences in the degree of immateriality. Some have divided into 7, but otherwise the number is infinite. But the Qur'an has meaning in each realm depending on the constitution of that realm. So the words of the Qur'an have meanings, have a physical meaning on a par with this realm. In the metaphysical realms, the same word which has one meaning, like the example we gave with the hand or the light, and I'll give a few others, they have one meaning in this physical realm. The same meanings have, the same terms and expressions have haqiqi, real meanings in the metaphysical realms. It's not a figure of speech, it's haqiqi, it's genuine, rather than saying it's allegorical and figurative. There's no allegory in the Qur'an. There's no figure of speech in the Qur'an with these terms. But depending on the realm of existence, that word has another meaning. Had the Holy Messenger revealed the Qur'an of the first intellect, it doesn't matter what the first intellect is, but amongst those many metaphysical realms of existence, the most immaterial, or one before the most immaterial, is called the first intellect. The Qur'an of that realm of existence, no one would have understood it save those who had access to that realm of existence. In short, the Qur'an's having butun, the Qur'an's having those inner dimensions, means that its words and expressions have been coined onto universal meanings. That's what we started off with. The words of the Qur'an, which is the Qur'an being in total harmony with all the order of existence, the terms and expressions of the Qur'an are coined onto meanings, general meanings, universal meanings in all realms of existence. Although the Qur'an is one reality, it embraces all realms of existence. However, if one understands from the term nur, is going back to that first example he gave, if one understands from the term nur, light, only the physical light, if that's all you understand from nur, and you believe that the words of the Qur'an are confined to the physical realm of existence alone, and not to the realms of existence beyond this physical realm, one has access but to the shell of the Qur'an. It's only the shell of the Qur'an you have access to. But one who sees the embracing nature of the term is aware of the butun of the Qur'an. One who understands that the words of the Qur'an have an embracing nature, they're coined onto meanings in all realms of existence, these people are aware of the butun, the inner meanings of the Qur'an. This is the meaning of butun, not that given by the author of Kifaya. See, the author of Kifaya is a very good book in the science of legal theory, and they teach it in the seminaries in Rome. There, the author of this book, he has another meaning of butun. Here, Imam wants to go against this meaning. He's saying, this, what we've described so far, that's the meaning of butun, of the Qur'an having inner dimensions. Not that given by the author of Kifaya, who said that the butun of Qur'an is referring to the lawazim, the corollaries, the necessary direct consequences of something, the direct emanations of something. In Farsi or Arabic they say lawazim, of the meanings of the Quran. That's not the meaning. Direct consequences of any given matter, things which emanate from a given fact, that's not what butun is. No, rather, as we have said, that which is intended by butun are those universal meanings which embrace all realms of existence in haqiqi, in genuine terms, not a figure of speech. However, each person understands the Qur'an's universal meanings in proportion to one's expansive access with respect to the realms of existence. Depends on how much you've grown beyond the physical realm. In proportion to how much you've grown beyond this physical realm, you will gain access to deeper meanings of the Quran. So, for example, when the Quran speaks of water, now I'm just giving these examples just for this notion to absorb, properly within you all, just in case some have still not understood it. So here, water. Some people, when they see water in the Quran, they limit it to this physical water, because they're limited in this physical world. They're imprisoned in this physical world. They've never seen anything beyond this physical world. And when they want to give a commentary, it's always that physical water in mind. When it says all living beings are from water in the Quran, they think it's the physical water, and they try to prove that everything has water in it. But we're saying that words and expressions in the Quran have meanings beyond this physical. Yes, there's a meaning of water, which is H2O in this physical realm, but water has meaning in the metaphysical realms of existence. Don't limit water only to this realm. And actually, if you do, Allama Tabatabai called that tafsir bil-ra'i, which is giving a tafsir of personal opinion, because you're absorbed in the physical realm and you're giving a tafsir based on only this physical realm. So that's quite a very harsh statement that is made there. In Al-Mizan, in chapter 3, I think it is, under the verse 7, there he gives 10 theories of different theories people have given on tafsir bil-ra'i, then he gives his own at the end. And this is what he says. Words of the Quran are coined onto universal meanings. Universal means not just this physical realm of existence, all realms of existence. What does water mean? You have to understand that, and then for each realm of existence, that's the meaning. Water means that which grants or is a source of life. In this physical realm, that's H2O. But in metaphysical realms, what is it there? There, the scholars say, based on traditions of the Ahlul Bayt, it's knowledge. Water is knowledge in metaphysical realms of existence. Everything is made of water. Well, are angels made of H2O? Of course not. They're not even material entities. Water, see what it's coined onto, its meaning, that which grants and is a source of life, and then for each realm of existence, it has a different meaning. For this physical realm, it's H2O. Beyond that, it has a different meaning. It's knowledge. That's why sometimes those who have dreams is in the metaphysical realm. They're drinking water. You go to the person who interprets, they say, either your sustenance is increased or your knowledge will increase, depending on the background of that person. Food. There's a verse in the Holy Quran, فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَى طَعَامِهِ. Man has to take a look at his food. What does food mean? Food, you can either limit it as this food that we're eating here, or it has a more general meaning, and depending on the realm of existence, that general meaning has to apply. Alhamdulillah, here Imam Baqir alayhi salam has provided the key here. in relation to this verse. He's given the butun here. He said you have to be careful who you get knowledge from. Not only the knowledge, but who you're getting it from. So here, food, the general meaning is that which is a source of growth. In this physical realm, it's the physical food that we eat. In metaphysical realms, is something else, which is a source of growth for you. But there's nothing figurative here. It's all haqiqi, it's true and genuine. There's no figure of speech. There's no majaz, as they say in Arabic here. And just imagine all the terms in the Quran, if one goes through it in this way, you're opening a totally different world view in relation to the Quran. And that's important. Okay. Then Imam continues. At the time of the Quran's revelation, maybe this is one reason why the Quran was referred to a letter. إن القرآن نزل على سبعة أحرف. The Quran was revealed upon 7 letters. I.e., we are yet to attain to the Quran's butun, and that all we see of the Quran is other than Allah. And that's because we are the shell of the physical realm. Sometimes the Quran, in this tradition, when it says إن القرآن نزل على سبعة أحرف, here the Quran is referred to as being revealed in 7 letters. We who are confined to the physical realm and don't see beyond, we only see the shell of the Quran, one letter, one dimension, one batten of the many butun of the Quran. And maybe it was because of this meaning that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said to Abi Hanifa, وَمَا وَرَّثَكَ اللَّهُ مِنْ كِتَابِهِ حَرْفًا. Thank you. That which Allah has passed on to you from His book, that which you've inherited, Imam Sadiq saying to Abi Hanifa, that which you've inherited is just one letter. After all, we can't say that Abu Hanifa did not understand that which we understand from the Arabic words, because he was Arab at the end of the day. So he understands the external meaning. He understands the Arabic text, but that's it. Because he's confined to the physical meaning, external meaning. And the Imam Sadiq saying that which has been passed on to you is just harfa, one letter, one bat, one dimension of the Quran. The Quran had been revealed upon 7 dimensions, has 7 butun. But since you were confined to the physical and external, and you were Arab and you understood it, that's all that you inherited though. Whereas we're saying words of the Quran has meanings in all realms of existence, not only the physical. In summary, that which is our share of the Quran is apparent and it's the outer shell. And we have yet to exit the physical realm in order to see beyond the worldly Quran, this Arabic text. We have to see beyond. There's a verse in the Quran, أَعِنْدَهُ إِلْمُ الْغَيْبِ فَهُوَ يَرَى. Does one have knowledge of the unseen to qualify as one who sees? Now this seeing isn't the physical seeing. Ilmul Ghaib, seeing beyond the physical realm. That's one of the objectives, it's the goal. We can't just be imprisoned in this physical realm. Otherwise that benefit that we take from the Quran will be limited in proportion to our imprisonment here. أَعِنْدَهُ إِلْمُ الْغَيْبِ فَهُوَ يَرَى. You want to see beyond? إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا. Those who say Allah is our Lord, and they stay as aqa'id, then they stay steadfast upon it. تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. Angels will descend upon them. This is not for prophets, it's for everyone, me and you. seeing the angels, seeing beyond, and thus benefiting. Then Imam continues, don't think that there exists anyone whose actions are for Allah. It's very difficult. To dedicate one's actions only for Allah, it's very difficult. That's being a mukhlis. Don't think there's anyone amongst this, don't think that there exists anyone whose actions are for Allah. Heaven is dunya too. See, this is Imam Khomeini saying this. No one has the audacity to speak like this. You have to be a mujtahid, not only in fiqh and usul, but in irfan, akhlaq, tafsir, philosophy, to be able to understand and have a deep picture of Islam. Don't think that there exists anyone whose actions are for Allah. Heaven is dunya too. Do you think heaven is akhirah? Ma sawallah, other than Allah, is dunya. All that is other than Allah is dunya. Dunya meaning lowly, abject. Whatever is lowly, it's very debased. Now this dunya, that's the meaning. This meaning in this physical realm is this physical world, but it also has meaning in the metaphysical realms. Heaven is dunya too. Ma sawallah is dunya also. He explains this a bit here, but alas, what can we do? After all, our sense of odour only has the capacity to sense this physical world, the lowliest of realms. We have never attained to any place save this last, most lowliest of shells, this physical realm. Then he goes, with dunya, it's a word in the Quran, then he's trying to extend it. The next word he wants to speak out is shaitan. Do you think that our shaitan is the same shaitan that made Adam alayhi salam exit heaven? No, we are not even worthy for that shaitan to pay attention to us. That shaitan had access to heaven, thus making Adam leave. Our shaitan is of a much lesser reality. The great shaitan doesn't even pay attention to us. Moreover, we don't even need a shaitan, because we ourselves are shayateen, or we deviate without shaitan even tempting us. Shaitan means whatever distances you from Allah. Words of the Quran are coined onto universal meanings. Shaitan is a word in the Quran. What's the universal meaning, the concept? It's whatever distances you from Allah. In this world, there's one meaning. Even we can be shaitan here. In all, beyond this physical realm, in all metaphysical realms, there's a shaitan, even in heaven. Whatever distances you from Allah, now they may distance you a lot, in dangerous proportions. They may even make you distance from Allah, at the blink of an eye. It's still shaitan. Then he gives a story. I don't want to go through the story. It's from a tradition where Nabi Yahya alayhi salam has this apparition of shaitan with many ropes attached to shaitan, some of them long, some of them short, some of them thick, some of them thin. And he says, what are these ropes? He says, the harder it is to tempt someone away from Allah, the harder it is, the stronger, the thicker, the longer the rope is. It's more difficult to bring them. But if it's easy to bring them, then it's a very short rope. I can tempt them very easily to come my way, away from Allah. Then Nabi Yahya said, some people don't even have a rope. He said, because they don't need tempting. They will come my way without me even tempting them. These people are shayateen themselves. Inshallah, we have to try not be of the last group. Then Imam continues, one can say, shaitan, the expression shaitan, is that which hinders one, prevents one's access from the truth, from Allah. That's the universal meaning. Now, depending on the realm of existence, each realm has its own meaning. All preoccupations distancing us from Allah is shaitan. The dunya is shaitan. Heaven can be shaitan if it makes one distanced from Allah. That's possible too. When you're only thinking about the reward, it's good. You're not going to go to hell. Don't think just because you've been imprisoned by shaitan, hell is a definite. No. Even shaitan came to Adam alayhi salam. He just said, whatever distances you from Allah. That where hell, the question of hell only arises in this physical realm. If you in this physical realm do those sins whilst living in this dunya, yes, there the concept of hell as we know it, yes, that can be difficult. But the meaning of shaitan, that which distances, even heaven can do that. Heaven can distance you. When you're only thinking of the reward, you're only thinking of not to go to hell. That's why you do your salat, that's why you do your prayer. The language of the Quran calls these people mushrik in the concealed sense here, not in the open sense. Not the mushrik that this is Allah, that is Allah. Shirkul khafi, concealed shirk, where Allah is a means. You're not seeing Allah as an ends in himself. Shaitan only turns one away from recalling Allah and from uniting with Allah. Dhikrullah, liqa'ullah. So, we have said, he's now summarizing, that expressions in the Quran have been coined onto universal meanings, so don't limit them to one realm. Hence, in whatever realm, that which distances from Allah, that which distances you from Haqq, that is shaitan. And how remorseful it is that we are so spiritually weak that all things, even our imagination, desires, and even perishable things that are in this physical shell of existence, these constitute shaitan for us, turning us away from dhikrullah, recalling Allah. Okay, so that was a passage from one of Imam's works, which was, I think, important to understand a few things we said yesterday and also what we're about to say now. So we reached this name, Batul. We were speaking about the names of Lady Fatima alayha salam. One was Tahira, Muhaddatha, and there were many more. These names, we said, it's because she is the possessor of these attributes of perfection. She is Uswa. That's what we discussed last night. And we said that these names, don't limit these names to the physical realm of existence. They apply to the metaphysical realms. If she is the all pure, if she is one who's spoken to, don't limit it to the physical realm. Who was speaking to her? We said the angels. If she's pure, not only pure from the physical impurities, even from the metaphysical impurities, she is pure. And it's because she possesses these attributes of perfection, she's an example for all of us. Man or woman, doesn't matter. It's a question of the spirit here. It has no sex, no gender. So she can be a model for all humankind. But then we came to a name that is Batul. That means cut off. And that was because she never had menstruation. She was cut off from it. Not that she never had it in the first place. Not that she had it to start off with, then it ceased to happen again. No, she never had it from the beginning. Now, first of all, some questions here. What does this mean? Do we limit it only to the physical realm of existence? And if she's a model for men and women, okay, Tahira we understand how it applies to man and woman. Muhaddatha we understand. Many other names we understand. But Batul, how can her being Batul be an example for men, for example? And this was important because we said the expressions in the Holy Quran are coined onto universal meanings. We don't limit it to the physical realm. That's why I wanted to go through that passage. It's an important preface to what we want to say now. So what is all this about? How can men be batul? If these are attributes of perfection, being batul is necessary also, be you man or woman. But batul means being detached, being absent from having menstruation. How can we give meaning to all this? So does menstruation have butun? Well, the quick answer is yes. Expressions are coined onto universal meanings. So it's important to understand what the butun of menstruation is, the inner meanings. And in relation to those inner meanings, they may apply equally to men and women. So men can also be ha'id like women, but not ha'id, which is a word in the Quran, it's an expression in the Quran. Expressions in the Quran are coined onto universal meanings. Don't limit ha'id only to this realm. And especially if she is batul, there has to be some benefit for men too. She's an example for all. So here we have to see what is meant, what is the butun, what are the inner dimensions of these terms. What does it mean that men can also be ha'id? It can't mean the physical haid, because men are totally mutually exclusive to that. Don't confine things to the physical domain alone. There are metaphysical realities beyond this physical menstruation. In the same way that there are metaphysical realities behind urine, behind feces, behind all these terms that we see in the Quran, there are metaphysical realities here. If you limit it only to the physical meaning, you're limiting your religion. You're not doing anything haram, but the potential is greater. In the Risalas of the Maraji, it always starts with tahara. Well, it starts with taqlid first, but then it's always tahara. In the books of fiqh, they always start with tahara. And it always speaks of, urine, feces, menstruation, all these matters that are spoken of. In the opening chapter in books of fiqh. Why should that be the reason? If you confine these things only to the physical realm, well, some people may get tired. They'll say, okay, isn't there more? But there were reasons why these books started with tahara. Because menstruation, urine, feces, all these things, they have inner, butun, esoteric dimensions, metaphysical realities that they are representing. Like the example of water I gave, with the example of food which I gave, the hand example, the nur example that Imam gave. You see, there's a physical component, but they're representing metaphysical truths. If you stick to the physical dimension, you're going to have a limited understanding of religion. If you stick to the physical aspect of water, of food, of light, of hand, it's going to be a limited picture here. And that's why some people get tired with the Sharia. When you teach the Sharia, it's very difficult, it's a big task. You have to make sure you teach it in a way that you also convey the meanings of the Sharia, the inner meanings. It's important. Once people know what water is, when you speak of qalil and kur, mutlaq and mudaf, what these represent, as you're giving the fiqhi external dimension, then they may understand it more when they see what these waters are representing. It's all a story of the soul. Okay. Now, one of the chapters in the books of fiqh in Tahara is, for example, the question of istinja. And that's when you're cleansing the orifices, either the urinary or the anal orifice, with water or stones. Water has meaning, stones has meaning. And then, when you're doing this, we suddenly see in the traditions of the Ahlul Bayt, there are du'as during takhalli, during when you're defecating or urinating. They bring these du'as. I'm only trying to explain to you that even things here, basic things, very low things that we think of, these are representing metaphysical realities that we are oblivious to, that we are ignorant of. So even during takhalli, we see these du'as. So first, Bismillah wa billah, with the name of Allah, by the name of Allah, by Allah. A'udhu billah, I seek refuge in Allah. Min al-rijs najis al-khabith al-mukhbith al-shaytan al-rajim. I seek refuge from Allah, from contaminating impurities. Impurities here is inner impurities. Rijs here is referring to inner impurities, which are vicious. Khabith, not khabath. It's khabith, it's vicious. It's mukhbith, it makes others vicious too. Ash-shaytan al-rajim. Seek refuge from shaitan, that which distances you from Allah. We're commended to do this. Why? What are these things representing? What is the urine, the feces? What are they representing? From this tradition, it opens that up. Batil, false thoughts, vicious thoughts, bad thoughts, dilemmas which contaminate you, which lead to your doubt in many things in a negative way. All these are khabith, all these are impurities. All these are shayateen. You want to be cleansed from this. Why should the Ahlul Bayt commend us to see this dua during takhalli? What is that thing which is exiting your body? What is that representing? Bad thoughts, fasid, corrupt thoughts up here in the heart. And you want to seek refuge from these thoughts. These are representing those metaphysical realities. So the next question now is, well, what about with the ma'sumin? Who they were free from all kinds of rijs, all kinds of impurities, all kinds of bad thoughts. They were ma'soom. What are we going to say in relation to what exits their body? What is that representing? I'm sorry for the language and everything, but I think it's an important message I want to put across here. You have to forgive me for, yes. That which is exiting their body, is that still impure? What's the ruling there? In chapter 33, verse 33, the verse of purification, at the end it says, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. That Allah only desires to repel, to remove impurities from you, O Ahlul Bayt, and to purify you with a thorough purification. Although here, the Urafa, people like Ayatollah Jawadi Omni says this rijs, it's nothing to do with the physical impurities. It's the inner impurities of the ma'sumin. So he says, don't extrapolate from this verse that even that which exits their body is also pure. No, he says that's something, this verse doesn't show that. This verse is speaking about those inner impurities. They're completely free. That which exits the bodies of the ma'sumin, the urine, the feces, is that pure? Or is that impure? And they all say it's impure. There are some scholars, Shia scholars, very, very few, who say it's pure, but it's an exception. And those exceptions, they even say you can consume that which exits the body of the ma'sumin. That's gone, kind of out. It's gone out of hand completely. But even consuming is one issue, because there are many things which are pure, but you can't consume them. They're not haram. They're not najis or anything, but the Sharia doesn't allow you to consume it. But still, the consuming issue is one issue, but the fact that it is pure or not, if you're saying this is a manifestation of their thoughts, this is another issue. I'm not giving an answer here. Just want you to think about it. I'm going to give one or two traditions in a minute. The manager, whatever they say, that's the point, and they may or may have not spoken about this. But the point is, whether it's pure or not, there's something different about it. If you're saying this urine, this feces is a manifestation of thoughts, evil thoughts, vicious thoughts, and so on and so forth, you have to explain this somehow. Whether it's pure or impure, that's not the issue. It's different though in some way. Now there's some traditions we have which shows this being different, which I want to go through. And both Sunnis and Shias have these traditions. And Aisha, where Aisha says, she says, قُلْتُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ إِنِّي أَرَاكَ تَدْخُلُ الْخَلَاءَ ثُمَّ يَجِيءُ الَّذِي يَدْخُلُ بَعْدَكَ فَلَا يَرَى لَمَا يَخْرُجُ مِنْكَ أَثَرًا. He says to the Holy Messenger that I see you entering the khala, as we call it today, the lavatory. Those days it was totally different. There was no flushing system, or it was something really ugly, just a hole somewhere. It's not like what we have it today. So I see you using the lavatory, and the person who enters after you, they don't see anything. They see no trace of that which exited your body. They see nothing after they go there, after you. فَقَالَ, the Holy Messenger says, Ya Aisha, أَمَا عَلِمْتِ, don't you know that أَنَّ اللَّهَ أَمَرَ الْأَرْضَ أَن تَبْتَلِعَ مَا خَرَجَ مِنَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ, that Allah has commanded the earth. It's a takwini reaction here. It's not something conventional or anything. It's a cause and effect, real relationship. That the earth has been ordered to, on a cause and effect basis, to swallow up that which exits the bodies of the prophets. See, that's something, there's something here. The Ahlul Bayt, they're telling us during Takhalli, say these du'as. From these du'as, it's understood that these physical excrement that we're exiting from our body, they're representing metaphysical realities, bad thoughts, vicious thoughts, evil thoughts. They're manifested in this way. Now, what we're going to say about the ma'sumin? Oh, it's different there. Earth swallows it up. And what that means, I just want to put across, it's different here now. Whether it's pure or impure, that's not the point here. Another tradition, Aisha says to the Holy Messenger, Ya Rasulallah, na'til khala'a fala nara shay'an min al-adha. We go to the lavatory, but we don't see any discomfort or difficulty. The difficulty meaning a bad smell, for example. We go there too, but when we go there after you've gone, we don't encounter any bad smell, any difficulty, any burden. قال يا عائشة أما علمتِ, don't you know أن الأرض تبتلع, the earth swallows up ما يخرج من الأنبياء, that which exits the prophets, فلا يرى منه شيء, and therefore nothing is seen. And then in another tradition, the Holy Messenger, with the same scenario, says لم يحدث رسول الله في موضع قط إلا ابتلعته الأرض. Yes, save that nothing exits the Holy Messenger save that the earth swallows it. There are many traditions like this, both in the Sunni sources and the Shia. There's no speaking of it's pure or impure, but there's something here that the earth swallows it up. But there's one tradition which gives a code. There's a code here given, where Aisha says, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إذا دخل الغائط, whenever he would enter, غائط means a low ground, a low area, not feces. That's why in the Quran these words like feces, they don't exist. The Quranic Arabic, there's no word which has a bad meaning, a disgusting meaning. The word they use for feces is a low area, ground area, because that's where they would do that thing. Words of the Quran, they don't have that kind of direct meaning. So every time he would go to that low ground to exit from his body, dakhaltu, Aisha is saying that I would enter fi ithrihi, immediately after the Holy Prophet finishes, I would enter. فَلَا أَرَى شَيْئًا, I would see nothing. إِلَّا أَنِّي كُنْتُ أَشُمُّ, save for the fact that I would smell رَائِحَةَ الطِّيب, the odor of perfume. See, but you would expect bad smell, and that's what the norm was, especially with the toilets there. Here it's different. It's a different subject matter. That which exits the body, it's exiting the body of people with no evil thoughts, no inner vicious, negative, bad thoughts. They were ma'soom. When she would enter, it was only perfume she would smell. Not the perfume that the Holy Messenger would put up on himself, no. فَذَكَرْتُ ذَلِكَ لَهُ, and I mentioned this to the Holy Messenger. And this is something very strange. I haven't seen anyone having this. My father was this, my brother was this. It's the first time I'm seeing such a phenomenon. So I mentioned it. فَقَالَ, the Holy Messenger replied, Ya Aisha, ama alimti, don't you know that? Anna, now this is the code here. Anna ajsadana, our bodies, this physical body. Nabatat ala arwah ahlil jannah. It's grown from the spirits. It's grown out of the spirits of Ahlul Jannah. Now, it's a very big statement here. In the same way that the plant, which is more refined than soil, grows from the soil, the bodies have grown from the spirits of Ahlul Jannah. See, something pure here. And then he continues with the same language I said before. So here, there's something different. That's what I'm trying to say. Why do we in fiqh? Why, if we touch the corpse of a dead body in fiqh, Fatemiyyah, as they say, it has a ghusl. But if you touch the corpse of a ma'soom before giving the ghusl, there's no ghusl Fatemiyyah anymore. All the fuqaha have said that. You see, there's something different again here. There's something different. That's what I'm trying to put across here. In relation to blood, too, questions arise. Now, in the Shia sources, I haven't seen anything. The Sunnis have it in relation to blood. They even have traditions, the Sunnis have traditions where people drank, companions of the Holy Prophet, they drank blood. And they were given the green light. One of them was Abdullah ibn Zubayr. They drank the blood of the Ma'soom, that is. Not any blood. Abdullah ibn Zubayr was one example. The Shias don't have this. We don't have this at all. That he did hijama, a way of cupping at those days, and he did hijama of the head of the Holy Messenger. The Holy Messenger, when the blood came, said, "Go and throw it away." Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he was still a child. He drank it. He went. Salman al-Farsi saw it. This is in the Sunni traditions. I haven't seen it in the Shia ones. And then Salman al-Farsi was surprised, went to the Holy Prophet and said, "This is what's happened. Did you tell him?" The Holy Messenger comes to Abdullah ibn Zubayr's son, who, according to Sunni and Shias, he was the first Mawlud, the first one who was given birth to after the Hijrah of the Holy Messenger. It was called Hamamul Kaaba, the pigeon of the Kaaba, because it was there a lot. Aisha, for example, he was brought up by Aisha a lot. Anyway, then when the Holy Messenger sees that Abdullah ibn Zubayr had done this, according to the traditions they have, and it's not one or two, there may be tens of these in the Sunni traditions. The Holy Messenger says, I have it somewhere here, Ya Abdullah, la tumsikun nar, fire won't touch you, as a result of what he's done, drinking the blood of the Messenger. It's not right, it's a point I'm putting forward here. Illa bitahalatil qasam, save if the oath has been suspended. And the story here was because in the Battle of Jamal, Abdullah ibn Zubayr was there. Zubayr was there too, when Aisha was fighting against Amir al-Mu'mineen. And Abdullah ibn Zubayr was a proponent of Aisha and told his father, "Come on, you can fight against Ali too, come on our side." Zubayr said, "No, I've made an oath never to fight against Amir al-Mu'mineen." Abdullah ibn Zubayr said, "Break the oath." Tahalatil qasam. Break the oath. And he did, to start off with, but at the end he went back and said, "No, I can't do that." Zubayr had a good faith at the end. In the middle, things happened. But he refused to fight against Amir al-Mu'mineen there. Anyway, they have it. Now, we don't have it, drinking blood. But the point is, the purity of the blood, not the drinking or anything. Is it pure or impure? If it's a ma'soom, we have to see what does it present. When Amir al-Mu'mineen was hit on the head, when he was martyred, and he was bleeding, but he continued with his salat, there are questions raised there. Some people say he didn't know he was bleeding. It's unproblematic. These questions have to be answered. I'm not saying, I don't want to put you in a certain direction, but these are important points. So anyway, it's the butun of these expressions. Even things like this, like menstruation. The butun has to be understood, and then it applies to men and women. It doesn't matter. Then we come to, what does batul mean? How can men be batul? What are the inner meanings of menstruation? The butun, not this physical meaning. How can men become batul too? These are important issues. Inshallah, we'll continue to. وصلى الله على محمد. اللهم صل على